I think we are finally, I think we're live. Hello everybody. I'm gonna wait a couple minutes to have my good friend Austin join. He's in Florida, and he's gonna be helping me today with this live. I think he's on there. Hey Austin, how are you, buddy? Are you able to come on the live with me now at this point, or how is this gonna work? Your request. I think he's on there now. Let's give him a couple more minutes. Hey, bud.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. How are you?
Doing fantastic.
Good, good, good. So thank you for joining me today. Super grateful.
Yeah, of course. I'm super excited.
Yeah, you should be, man. I mean, it's definitely some interesting stuff that we're gonna discuss, and hopefully, the people listening will get to benefit from it, and see what they can do. It's up to them. It's a choice, right? What they do with it. So it's all up to them.
Perfect. Yeah, always a choice.
Good, good. Yeah, so mainly, what I want to do today is just discuss a little bit about what you do, but also, the things that I've been doing in the salon industry as well. So personally, I've been in the salon industry for 21 years. I can't believe it's been that long. It's been super exciting. A lot of headaches when I started out, but definitely things have improved drastically in a very short period of time, and that's really one of the reasons that I decided to share some of the stuff that I've learned, especially the last, I want to say, 7 years, but mainly the last 2 years. I became a consultant with the Proctor Gallagher Institute, and I got to tell you, man, everything Austin has gone to such a better place, professionally, personally, in every aspect of my life. So I know you've created a lot of success in your world as well. So I would love for you to share some of the real estate tips that you have as well for us.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that I would recommend is I like that you're mentioning Bob Proctor because with anything, it always starts with mindset. Regardless of if you're in real estate, if you're in salon, like whatever business you're in, mindset is key, and that's something that I've learned. And as I've honed that mindset and improve that mindset, especially with the law of attraction, that's where I guess like the magic happens, right? Now, in terms of what I do, I'm a real estate investor here in Florida, and other parts of the U.S., but mostly here in like the Orlando area. And so, real estate's a great business because it can be pretty passive. You got great gains. You can make money in monthly cash flow plus tax benefit, and then appreciation. So it's a great place to be in and a great business to be in. I've been doing it for it's been about 4 years now. So, and then I'm also, I've been mentored by Robert G. Allen. So he's a multiple New York Times bestseller in multiple streams of income, and also real estate, specifically no money down real estate, where you leverage real estate in a way where you don't put any of your own money into the deal and you still
Yeah.
get the benefits of having the deal, right? So that's my mentor, and that's where I've learned all this from, and that's what I've been doing. So it's amazing, right? And from what talking to you a little bit, I know that with what you do, it's similar in that you can make it passive as well. So I guess, would you mind telling me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Literally 7 years ago, I started really dialing in deep with some of the material with the self-development industry. And, after my first seminar, I just really fell in love with it. That was really what it is. I fell in love with self-development, and I seen my life improve. And, once it was like a little nibble, right? That's all I needed. Just something to grab onto, and it really resonated with me. And my life just improved, pretty drastically. And I'm like, well, how come I didn't know this material before? And I certainly wasn't ready, probably wasn't ready, but I also wasn't aware of it. Like you're a lot younger than me, and you're aware of it at a very young age. And I can't imagine what you're gonna accomplish, in a pretty short period of time, by the time you get my age. So, basically for me, everything really shifted when I became a consultant, because I really studied every single day, because prior to that, I was studying, not that often, didn't have a mentor. And, today we'll talk a little bit about how important it is to have a mentor, somebody that can guide you through the whole process. But I didn't have a mentor. It was basically just me studying on my own. And there's a big difference between having somebody that's guiding you every step of the way, and you're following a certain formula, where you're learning every single day, because we have this thing called a paradigm, and it's always going to take us to how we do things, the old way. And the old way is just simply is great because it got us to where we are today, but it's not going to get us any further than our current results. And that's what a lot of people, I think, fall short because they're still operating with their current mindset, their current paradigm. So in order for us to achieve like a different sets of results, then we have to learn a new set of skills, or a new way of thinking, and we have to see ourselves like really, living the life that we really want. And so just a little bit about, the salon. I've had it since 2008, and it was great the whole time, making six figures. But in 2020, a couple months after I became a consultant, everything shifted and my business really skyrocketed. And what I mean by that, I went from having 4 people at the shop to 13 people, even during the pandemic, when a lot of businesses were struggling, my business, because of the mindset, the right mentorship. And that's what I tell everybody. You got to have the right mentorship. You have to be consistently in a program that's going to keep pushing you forward, not to just fall back and just going back to doing things, comfortably and just taking a break. You have to keep moving forward. There's no other way about it. So, yeah, I went from literally 4 people to 13 in a matter of, 2 years during the pandemic. And then I have a couple other assistants working there as well. So, I'm there a lot less than I was before. I'm earning a lot more than I was before, but a lot of it was due to my mindset, and I think a lot of people would agree that, it's our belief system, our mindset that's really holding us back. And if it wasn't for the material that I learned with Bob and a lot of mentors of mine, around him, like Arash and a couple other people, nothing really would have changed, right? So sometimes we have to bet on ourselves and just say, hey, this resonates with me, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to create the results in my life. And anybody can do it. This isn't information just for me and you, Austin, as you know. Anybody, can study how, the mind works and learn some new techniques, new material, and have a new awareness and create a whole new result for themselves.
Yeah, I really enjoy that. And I mean, just to kind of, I guess, piggyback a little bit off of what you talked about, I think a lot of times we settle for what I like to call our fake self, right? And so we always settle for, because a lot of people don't know this whole mindset is key, right? Having a positive mindset, but also attracting what you want into your life and not attracting what you don't want. Most people are programmed to subconsciously attract and magnetize what they don't want, because what they're thinking constantly, what they're doing things associated with what they're thinking, unconsciously, right? And so I think one thing that I like to think about is if you were to take like a rubber band, right, and then you have a stake in the ground, and that represents, you trying to change, right? And you have to pull the rubber band and break it in order to change into, your true self and also change that mindset. I feel like kudos to you for being able to do it without a mentor for such a long time. It's very difficult. But what ends up happening is you pull against that rubber band and you pull and you pull and you pull, and then it starts getting tough to pull. And so you let go and you snap back to, your bad habits and all those things like that. It's really, really hard to keep on pulling until you can snap it. But with a mentor, as you start to let go, that mentor comes in and helps pull it for you so you can eventually snap those habits and change that mindset. And that's what I've found. Mentor, I mean, you can do it on your own, but usually it takes longer and it's much harder because you don't have that support system. You don't have that person that's been through that before to be able to see those blind spots and help you keep on pulling to get to where you want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times, even when you go to these seminars, I remember, spending over $12,000 for a 5-day seminar, And, you know, like people that do those seminars will even tell you, like, you're not going to create lifetime of success just by going to one seminar, because it has to be continuous, you know. And I love talking about this material because it changed my life in so many ways. But I think the majority are doing exactly that. You know, they're going to the gym once a week or maybe twice a month, and then they're expecting these fabulous, amazing results. And when it comes down to this material, it's the same exact concept. Like, you can't go to a seminar once a year or once every couple of years and expect a different results, because when you do come back home, you feel energized, but it's only for a short period of time. Now, when you are in a mentorship program, and this is what we offer, you know, a 6 month coaching, right? A 6 month mentorship where you can literally, you know, figure out what it is that you want, and you're being guided every step of the way. It's not like, you know, something that you do for the weekend or a couple weeks. No, it's something that's going to last for 6 months, because, you know, one thing, Austin, as you know, if you go to the gym every day or 4 days a week for 6 months, that's how you see improvements. And that's exactly how it is with our mindset. Like, we cannot change our thinking, our habits, our behaviors in going once, you know, to learn this material once a month. It just doesn't work, right? Because like you said, with the rubber band, you tend to go back to what's comfortable, because you push yourself a lot more than you actually need to, right? And that's what a lot of people are actually doing in their own business. You know, going to bed late, grinding, waking up early, hustling, and they don't understand that all they have to do is just change the way they think. You know, if it's as simple as that, you know, why does the majority not doing it, Austin, right? And the real reason they're not doing it is because of the conditioning, the programming that's been passed on to us by our parents, our ancestors, and people that really did not know any better, right? But, you know, as Bob says, you know, we've been given this paradigm, but it's always up to us to change it. Nobody can change it for us. Like, have you ever tried to change someone else's like thinking? It's impossible. You know, you can give them a little bit of like planting seeds here and there, but if anybody wants different results, they have to do it on their own. And you got to bet on yourself. That's really the only thing that's going to make it work, you know? You can go in any mentorship program and do nothing about it, and then you create nothing, right? So, you know, if somebody pays a certain amount of money for a class, well, you better do the work. If you pay a certain amount of money for mentorship, you got to do the work, you know, because it's not just learning. And that's what a lot of people do too. You know, I'm sure you come across a lot of people where they're in school, they got all these degrees and, you know, all these things, you know, master's degree, but they don't really do anything with it, you know, beyond their comfort zone, right? So we got to get out of our comfort zone, and that's the only way to create another result, man. That's really what it is, and that's what you're doing right now, and I'm super grateful for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And I like that you mentioned, so a few things from what you talked about. I mean, I think most people also think that with what they want, it's so far away and they can't start feeling the joy that comes from that result now. But that's one thing that's great about, I mean, Bob Proctor is somebody he teaches these kind of things, but if you read The Secret, which is a book that he actually helped a lot on, you can learn that you can feel that now, right? You can feel that joy now, so you can feel joy in the moment that you're in now, and then eventually you'll get the results that you want as you have the right mindset and you magnetize what you want. The other thing that I think you mentioned is, I think we have, in our world today, we don't lack information, the ability to gain knowledge, right? There's so much out there, but what we do lack is accountability. And so what ends up happening is the average person, most people, they end up trying to gain all this knowledge, and they think they can't take action because they need more knowledge, they need more, and they need more, they need more, and then eventually they end up getting what I call analysis paralysis, where they get so much knowledge and they have more than enough knowledge to take action, but they think they need more before they can take action, and they never do anything with that knowledge, and so it doesn't actually ever benefit them. And this is where accountability and having a mentor is so important, because that mentor will tell you to just go do, and you'll gain the knowledge when you do it, right? You have a good mindset and you go out and do it. And so I think it's awesome that you're offering these opportunities to mentor, because that's where the magic happens, where results actually come, is from accountability and having somebody give you, action steps, and then following up to make sure that you actually did those action steps.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think everybody that wants to be successful is going to figure out a way. to become successful. You know, I figured out a way to get to the success that I got, you know, and I had no idea I was going to be able to get to where I am today. And I look back, and that's what I tell everybody that's really on the fence of wanting to get mentorship or wants to, you know, maybe do something where they have the guidance. You know, like really, you're going to be in such a different place in 6 months, you know, and that's what Bob always told us. And that's what I tell everybody else, because you know, I look back 2 years ago and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I am where I am today, where I have more time, more freedom, and I'm in a much better financial situation as well. And I think really, you know, Austin, what it comes down to is a lot of people, they think the people that are successful, you know, have created that because somebody has given them a chance. And even though, yeah, that might be the case, you know, this kind of success can be for everybody. Anybody can create the success that they want. So it's also our job as mentors to basically get someone to believe in themselves so much more. You know, like if they want to do something, and the reality is, you know, they can accomplish anything that they want. But what happens is the paradigm, you know, if we think of a business idea, right? Like we want to accomplish something and a thought comes to us, to our intuition, and then we put it off. Well, that idea is going to die and we're never going to move forward with it because we didn't take action right away. And if you don't take action within like seconds of the thought coming to you, well, just look at your life and look at what you're doing and look at the thoughts that are coming to you the last couple of weeks, couple months. Just ask yourself, something that you thought about 6 months ago, is it actually in your life now? And if the answer is no, well, also ask yourself, how many other things that I actually want to do that I'm really not doing? And the reason is a lot of people are just afraid. They don't think they can accomplish it and they're afraid. And you know, fear is a human thing that we have developed and we passed on through everybody else that came before us. But you know, it's something that the majority, thinks about on a regular basis, but they don't have to. You know, the opposite of fear, as you know, is faith and courage, right? So anytime, you know, this is just another habit, by the way. So I have a habit of, you know, being afraid to take action or moving forward. Well, that's a habit. Now, how you get rid of that habit and create another habit that's going to serve you? Well, what's the opposite of fear is faith, right? So if I'm in harmony and I take action on a regular basis, well, now I created a new habit, and that new habit is called faith. And you know, for me, I would rather try something, even if it doesn't work. That's okay. At least I tried it, and then I'm not thinking in the back of my mind like, in 6 months, why didn't I do that? Like, what really happened? How come I'm not moving forward in my life? Well, the reason why is I'm not taking those action steps. And, you know, it's a really powerful place to come from once you have these tools, because, you know, you're moving like in a direction that you really want to, Austin. As you know, like success doesn't happen overnight, even though it can. Most of the time it doesn't. It's a lot of baby steps. Like every single day you're going towards it. And, you know, as Les Brown said, like the battle is in our mind. You know, if there's no enemy within us, there's no enemy outside of us that can do us any harm. So what does that mean? That means that I have to constantly talk myself to continue to move forward until I don't have to anymore, because I've created a new habit. And this new habit is here to serve me, bring me a lot of joy and happiness, not just financially, but personally as well. And I think a lot of people really misunderstand that.
Yeah, 100%. I think one thing that I think about with what you're talking about, when we talk about just fear in general and faith and things like that, one thing that I like to mention is just when you look at faith in general, I mean, the only way to have true faith and move faith from belief is to have action associated with it, right? And so maybe it doesn't go exactly how you wanted, but from what I've learned from my mentors in my life is that what people would call failure, right? Failure. There is no failure as long as you take what you learn and you turn it into a learning experience, right? Because then in that case, it's not an actual failure. Failure is only when you take that experience and you stop trying to move forward. That's when failure is true failure. And then also, I think when we look at, you know, average people and then people who are actually living the life that they want, whether that's financial, spiritual, whatever it is, right? I would say that what separates them is that the average person, they let fear dictate their decisions in life and dictate their life. Where people who are living the life they want, especially financially, that are having success, successful people allow their dreams to dictate their life, and they take action associated with their dreams so that they can live their dreams, right? And I think that's the big difference between the average person, where they allow fear to control their life. They don't take action because of fear. They're focused on those things, where fear is just a tool that our mind has developed to protect us from supposed threats, right? That's all it is. And when we look at other things, right, our intuition, you could call it spirit, you could call it intuition, whatever you want to call it, right? That innate feeling where we know that something is right and we're supposed to take action on it, that's what we should be focused on when we make decisions. Does it make sense, right? So you do got to think, does it make sense? Does it make sense? Does it feel like I should do it in my heart? And then does it feel like I should do it in my intuition or my soul or my spirit, right? If all of those things line up, then a successful person is going to take action and do something 100% of the time. Where an average person is only going to be focused on, well, what about this? I would call it and buts, right? Well, buts. Well, but what if this? Well, but what if that? Well, but I don't have enough money. Well, but I don't think I can do that. Well, but I don't have those things, right? These are all things that just get in the way of our dreams, and we allow fear to dictate our life instead of living our full potential that we were put on this earth for, right? And if we live our dreams and we take action for our dreams, then we will fulfill what we're supposed to be here for, right? However you want to believe, whether it's the universe, God, whatever we're here for, you will achieve, your life's potential if you're focused on your dreams and taking action for your dreams instead of fear or your, yeah buts, so to speak.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I really agree with you, Austin, as far as your intuition. I think it's great what you mentioned, but a lot of people, are always looking for joy as well. And one thing they have to understand is when they're living through their intuition, joy just comes naturally because they're doing what they really want. And, we all want to live life on our own terms. So that's a really powerful place to come from. Just living life on your own terms. It doesn't matter what it is because everybody's different what they want in life. So just following that intuition is really key. And I think a lot of people, Austin, just don't know how to win. I think if people knew how to win, everybody would actually do it. And I always look at it in a way as far as winning and losing, right? Well, the common denominator of success is basically the successful people are doing things that unsuccessful people don't like to do, right? So if you want to create a certain result in your life, well, you have to take certain kinds of actions. And what does that mean? So if I'm taking a certain kind of action towards my goal, then that means I have to get rid of any unproductive activities, whatever that is, right? Anything that gives us joy temporarily is not long term. So, for me, I like to give up, and sacrifice my time now for things that doesn't bring me so much joy, or maybe it does, for something bigger, in like 3 months from now or 6 months from now, or even 6 years from now. And I think that's what a lot of people fall short because they want that initial like feeling of happiness right now. And, for me, it's like I said, just follow your intuition and create the life of your dreams, where a lot of people are really, working till the minute, 65, 75, whatever that age is, and they're not really enjoying life in an abundant state of mind, and the reason again for that is their paradigms and their habits and their conditioning. But instead of coming from a place of scarcity, people need to understand, like, we get in our life what we really are thinking about on a regular basis, right? So if I think of a negative thought, well, I have that ability, that conscious ability to reject that idea because it doesn't serve me, right? So consciously, I can see whatever it is, and disagree with it and not let it into the gateway to get to my subconscious mind because that's controlling everything, right? And I think that's where a lot of people fall short too. They're emotionally involved in the wrong idea. And if I'm involved in the wrong idea, I mean, basically, I'm not feeling my best. And if you think about it, like if I'm not feeling my best, well, what kind of action steps am I going to take? Not so productive, not so great. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means that my results are not going to be so great either, right? But if I am involved with positive thinking, right, with healthy thoughts, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be on a different frequency, different vibration, right? So I'm going to feel good. And if I feel good, I'm going to take positive actions. And if I take positive action, well, I'm only going to attract positive results. It's that simple. But that's what really, this material is all about, Austin, like really to get people to live from the inside out using their higher faculties, because a lot of people are connected to their five senses. They're looking at their results, the thoughts that they're getting through their results, instead of looking at your results and saying, you know what, it is what it is. This is neutral. I'm neutral about my results, because results are always temporary, as we know. It's not permanent. It might last a week, a month, but it's never permanent. So results are neutral no matter what they are, because I know I can always improve my results, right? Because I am that guy who's going towards more success. And if everybody operated with that kind of like mentality, everybody will be winning. Everybody would be living the life that they really want. And we just simply have to get rid of any excuses. That's it. Like we say, this is what we want, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to go after it. And going back to what you were saying earlier, as far as like people go after what they want and then things don't work out and then they go back to the comfort zone and give up on it, and that's considered failure, right? Well, if people don't desire what they want, which means they really, really want it. So if you don't want something really bad, well, yeah, the minute that things don't go your way, you're going to quit. And that's why you really have to go after something that you truly desire and your heart wants you to go after it.
Yeah, no, I think that's fantastic. And just with all of this, I mean, another thing that's very important, in going back to not just mentorship as a whole, but something that, especially if you're looking at financial, but this applies to anything, whether it's physical goals or spiritual goals or financial goals. One thing that my mentor also taught me is that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And this is where mentors are important, right? Because in most cases, you're going to go find a mentor who is doing what you want and they're already there. And they're there at a high level. And the reason why is you can insert them in and you'll know that, just figure out the 5 people that you spend the most time with, insert them in. And if it's, let's just say it's financial, right? You would just take, like, on average, I think this person makes this person makes this person makes this a year. You add that all up, divide it by 5, and that's about probably what you make a year. Mm-hmm. And it's very interesting when you do this, you actually find out that that is almost exactly what you make a year. And so that's where mentorship is very important. Finding someone who can up that, right? If it's a physical goal, right? You are the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? And so maybe you need to go find someone who's going to push you in the gym if you have specific physical goals. And it applies to everything. And so just mentorship, and then also associating yourself with people who are either shooting for what you're trying to become or are already there, it is going to make, like, you'll be surprised how fast you progress when you do this. And then obviously you need to change. You have to have a paradigm shift in mindset, and then align yourself with somebody who has already been there, and then align yourself with people who want to get there. And you'll be amazed how fast you get where you want to go.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here's the thing, like some of the stuff that we teach, as you know, it's mindset, right? So it can be for anybody and everybody that's looking to grow their business or to get their personal life to a really different level, right? Maybe they're not satisfied in certain areas of their life. And the reality is, when you're going after what you want, you really have to set 2 goals, right? Austin, like we can't go after our profession only and not have a personal goal, because there's so many people that are not satisfied when they earn the money they want, they create the business that they want, but they're on the inside, they're very unfulfilled. So that's why it's really important to have the 2 aligned and take care of your well-being as well. But, in reality, the mentorship that we're offering is basically salon owners, hairstylists that are looking to generate $5,000+ every single month, in their industry. It doesn't matter what city, what state that you live in, you can actually do this. It doesn't matter where you're at in the United States, right? So, and a lot of people really complicate it, and that's why results go into their life and then they come right back out because they're not staying on that frequency long enough where they make it permanent. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to show you and coach you how to stay on that frequency of what it is that you want. Maybe someone wants to start their own shampoo line, or maybe somebody wants to, open up another, salon, or they have this great business idea within the industry that they're just too afraid to move forward with it. And that's what this information is going to guide you. It's going to get you to, instead of having the fear, like have the faith and to move forward with it. You don't need all the resources. All you really need at this point is the decision to really move forward. Once you make a decision, it's a committed decision, then all the resources, as you know, will just come to you, right? And that's what the mentorship is. If you have a salon, if you're working behind the chair, you want to earn an extra $4 to $5,000+ every single month with the right marketing strategy, right? It's not like we just send you the clients from our end. This is something that we're going to show you. We're going to work on your mindset, but we're going to actually set up the right marketing strategy where you're getting a flow of clients, without having to spend time on social media, without having to spend time posting, none of that stuff, because, you want to dedicate the time to serving your clients. And once you're serving your clients, if you're working, let's say 5 days, 6 days a week, well, that's a little bit more than you have to. And, I get it because I was there too. You might be thinking if I work less, I'm going to earn less money, but that's also a belief system as well. So the reality is, you can work 3 to 4 days a week, earn what you're earning in 5 to 6 days a week, and also enjoy yourself so much more. Like take the pressure off yourself, because you can't really put pressure on you. It doesn't help you in any way, shape, or form. Like you have to just understand that things can come to you, but you have to stay and be on that frequency of what you want. Are you getting upset when certain things are not going the way you want to in your business? Well, you shouldn't, because you want to be neutral, because anytime you get upset, you get angry, well, you're on a negative vibration, and that attitude and that vibration that you're in is not going to attract more of the good that you desire. So that's one thing that that I really struggled with over the years as well. I was pretty much a hot mess, and I really got to a better place once I understand how the mind actually works. And, it's a universal mind, as you know, Austin. Everybody's mind operates the same. As long as we understand it, we can use it accordingly to go after the good that we desire. So if anybody's really, into wanting to know more, wanting to, entertain the idea of getting mentorship and creating, not just the business of their dreams, but also to start waking up, with that aliveness to go after what they want on a regular basis. Most people think motivation, Austin, is like, oh, I'll listen to a video, I'll pop a video in my car, I'll go for a good workout. Well, that's not really motivation that's going to be long term. Real motivation comes from us really going after the goal that we desire. Once we understand that, then, and we have a goal that we really want, we're motivated automatically.
Yeah, I love that. And I mean, a great way to look at it is just when you think of momentum, right? Momentum is key in getting where you want to go. And the motivation that most people think of today is exactly what you're talking about, right? They play a song or something like that, and it lasts for a time. But real motivation, I guess, getting where you want to go. If you look at old style locomotive trains, they took a lot of energy to get going, and they actually would spend so much energy getting going that a lot of engineers are trying to think, like, how can we try to collect some of the energy that the train has when it's going, so that when it stops, we can still tap into that energy, because it's so much energy that we're losing, right? And so they built a big gear inside of the train that just goes. As the train goes, it pushes it, and it goes and goes and goes. And when it stops, it's still going. It's this big, heavy gear. And when the conductor's ready to get the train going, he pulls this lever, and it puts a small gear into the big gear to push the train and start getting that momentum going. That's real motivation. It's having that big wheel spinning and spinning and spinning and not stopping, right? You're doing the small, simple things every day, the mindset things every day, to continue to have that momentum that energy going and going and going. So anytime you need to pull the lever to tap in to get going, you can. That's real motivation, right? And so I like what you said, because that's what we can teach people how to do. That's what we've been taught how to do, and that's what we're trying to teach people how to do. Whether it's with starting a salon, whether it's in real estate, it applies in everything, right? You need to have the small things happen with mindset, and that's why this opportunity with Saeed is awesome, because if you're a salon owner, it's going to benefit you a ton. Even if you are not, and you're a business owner of any business, this will benefit you to have that mindset, have that coaching, and move forward from there, right? And so just having that momentum, having that gear that you can tap into every day is going to help you get where you want to go, so that you're not spending so much energy that you give up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And there's a reason, Austin, why, my salon in Redondo Beach is the busiest salon in the area right now. It doesn't happen by accident. And that's what I tell everybody, like, success doesn't just happen. It has to be done a certain way. And anybody that wants to create success in their life has to do things a certain way, because successful people take certain kinds of action because their thinking is totally different than, the average person. And anybody can incorporate that, but they have to take action a certain way to create a different sets of results. So if you're on the fence, if you're in an area where you're like, oh my God, my business is not doing the way I like it to be, I highly recommend that just get in contact with one of us, and we'll be more than happy to share with you the material, the information, and how you can skyrocket your results in a short period of time, and start creating the success that you want. So Austin, I really thank you for coming on today. Totally grateful again for you, man. I know you're a busy guy and you're busy, and but you took some time out of your day today, so super grateful. Thank you. And yeah, I'm sure we'll talk very soon.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
All right, guys, have a great day. Bye.